I do not keep important things in my head, not if I can avoid it. Because with MS, things can disappear fast. An idea can be there 1 second and a few seconds later, gone. And that's not because I did not care, not because it was not important, it was just gone. And that is why I try always to write things down. And for me, the app Todoist has become a huge part of daily life. If something matters, I try to get it out of my head and into a system. A task, a reminder, a note, something external. Because my brain is not a storage unit, it is already working hard enough. And I think this is one of the most practical lessons I have learned from living with MS. Do not make the brain carry things it does not need to carry. It can be appointments, ideas, small tasks, things I need to buy, things I need to remember later, messages I need to answer, something I promised someone, a thought for a video, a tiny detail that will become a problem if I forget it. If I try to hold all of that in my head, it creates noise. And noise gets expensive. So instead, I try to move it somewhere safer. And this is not about being super organized. It is not about being perfect. And it is definitely not about having a beautiful productivity system. It is much, much simpler than that. I write things down because future me may simply not remember. And future me deserves help, and that is the whole point. Because with MS fatigue and brain fog, I have learned that memory is not something I want to gamble with. So if I need something later, I try to capture it now, because later I may be tired, later I may be distracted, later I may have too many open tabs in my head. And later that thought may be completely gone. So instead I try to catch it while it is still here. And that is why I sometimes stop what I am doing just to write down one small thing. Because small things are not always small later. A forgotten task can become stress. A forgotten message can become guilt. A forgotten appointment can become chaos. A forgotten idea can simply disappear forever. And I do not need more chaos. I need support. And that is how I think about lists and reminders. They are not pressure. They are not punishment. They are not proof that I am failing. They are simply support, an external brain, a place where important things can live so that they do not have to live inside my head all day long. And honestly, that gives me peace. Because when something is written down, I can let go of it. I do not have to keep checking my own mind. What was it? What did I forget? What was I supposed to do? Because that loop can be exhausting. So instead, I try to close the loop early. Write it down, move on, trust the system. Simple. And with MS, simple is powerful. Because the goal is not to remember everything. The goal is to build a life where I do not have to.